and next thing you're going to notice is a timer appear. So I'm going to take care of the enemies, and I'm going to talk my way through it as I do it. Oh, well, okay. Whole lot of errors. Welcome back, gamers. Welcome back, game designers. We are here with Flintlocked? Question mark? We think we might have a name. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see where it's going. Anyway, welcome back to our next update in the series of the tactical top-down shooter that we are making. At first, you're going to realize that there is an update to the main menu, including a multiplayer button here now. So, I'm going to go through the single player first, show you what's different. We'll loop back to the multiplayer. So, here in the main menu, we have a new equipment selection option, so you can actually go through and select your equipment before jumping into the game. All of these are weapons that we have in the game. They all have their own titles, and we'll get to those here in a little bit. We have the new gear as well, and we have the consumables. You also change your armor type from light, medium to heavy, and we also have the none option, so that way you can run around a little faster than others. After this, you would select whatever gear you would like, hit mission select, and then you're back to the mission select we introduced last time. You'd hit this, and then you'd hit play. If you're not ready, you hit back, and you come back to the single player and hit back one more time. You're back to the main menu. Simple as that. The multiplayer step is going to be right here, and it's the same setup, but you can see it's a little bit thinner. And the mission select is the same thing. It actually pulls up the same exact mission select from the player, from the single player. I can add a test player count to 2, and I can go to 3, and I go to 4, and I can select individual gear, and it'll affect that person only. So, now here's the thing with this, is right now we cannot spawn more than one player in the scene. It'll only spawn just the first player here. That is just to make sure everything's working correctly, but in the coding side, with our debugs, you can see that everything does change, so all of these do make it. And if you just have test player count 1, then it still works fine. But that's the same thing as just hitting single player and choosing your equipment in this bigger, wider screen, so yay. Doing this, we can go ahead and look at some of the new weapons we have not introduced just yet. You'll see that we have the chain gun, we have the assault rifle, and we have the grenade launcher. This is the shotgun, still is in the coding, however we're going to be looking at possibly removing it, but for starters, let's start with the chain gun, because chain gun's fun. Consumables here, we have the taunt that we introduced last time. Freeze grenade is just an icon change. And then we also have the mines. This is going to be a new one, so we're going to show off the new one here. And we have 2 new consumables, the glow stick and the tracer shot. So I'm going to do the glow stick first, we'll get to the tracer shot later. Armor type, I'm going to leave none, because all armor is just increasing the amount of health you have and how fast you are, and it's a little easier to show off things when you're a little faster. Mission select the first mission, and we'll play. As we're loading in, you're going to see a slightly upgraded loading screen, so you can actually see some rooms around you as it's loading in. You'll see the new objective thing show up. We're going to get to the objective. That's going to be a whole set. I'm just not there yet. But as you can see, we have 50 cal sniper. That is not what I said. Chain gun. I have chain gun now. Alright. So we have an enemy over here. Let's go ahead and use the chain gun. Tiny little pellets deal very little damage, but I have 75 ammo. So I can kind of just unleash on these guys. You'll see that the ranged enemy has gotten some accuracy. Shoots a little faster than before. Chain gun takes forever to reload. Bam. So we have our new chain. I'm going to show off the mine because this guy's chasing after me. Oh well. Okay. So what you didn't see is that that enemy took some damage. Alright. So their health has dropped by 75. I'm going to drop another mine and it explodes. So the mine cannot be triggered by a player, it can only be triggered by an enemy. However, the mine does deal damage to the player if they're in the vicinity when it blows up. The mines do not decay over time, they will always be in the map. So we're good to just leave that there indefinitely. As mentioned last time, we made the dark rooms. We have glow sticks. So the glow sticks were introduced last time, but they're going to be a little bit different this time due to a new graphics engine. You'll see that there's more of a radiant level to everything going on. So you hit this, boom, and now you can see a much brighter version of this. Oh, something's not working. All right. Yep. Whatever was going on with the enemy, we'll figure that out. I want to say enemies. Yeah, that was the suicider enemy. I don't know what was going on. Don't know why it didn't explode. All right. Quick swap up on everything and refill on mines. I want to show off the mine a little bit more clearly now that there's an enemy in this room that will be coming back to that dot. So I'm going to go ahead and show it off while I'm not in the range of it. Oh, there it is. Okay. So boom, it took damage. I did not. And it died that time because it took now to the full 100 that it died. So I'm going to go ahead and use the tracer shot into the next room here. This is the new objective room. I'm going to get to what's going on in here in a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and activate the tracer rounds. You'll see that it becomes a glow. You can kind of see that they're kind of chasing after it a little bit easier. So it's more or less an accuracy round to help with aim. You'll also see we have the assault rifle. The projectile speed's a little slower, but the damage is still solid. So it's like the pistol for damage, but it's faster like the SMG, but it's a slower projectile, so it all balances itself out, if you will. Alright, so I'm going to get into the objective thing here next. So I'm going to run all the way back to the beginning, and I'll meet you guys there. Alright, so we are back at the beginning of the map, and we're going to be showing off both the grenade launcher and the new objectives. So first off, I want to show off the grenade launcher. It's a very powerful 5-shot weapon. You'll see the large size of it. I was testing it just a second ago. I do see that. I'm not sure what's going on there, but that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and tap this, and I'm going to hit it against the wall, and you'll see that the player's taking 25 damage. The enemies will take also quite a bit of damage, a little bit more than the players if it's a direct hit, but only 25 if they're in the area of effect. So I just want to show that one off real quick to finish up all weapon changes, and I'm going to actually swap over to the assault rifle for the rest of the video, mainly because the damage value just seems to show off pretty well. Before going into the objectives, we need to know what the objectives are, right? So we have objectives here in our options menu. You'll also see that I filled out the rest of the map here. So we can see that we started here in this green area. There is no green here, but there's green in the map. And we see the objective room, that red. That red is the same red we've been using so far, but now it's only visible in the map and not visible by the player. As well as these dark rooms have their gray shade. There are different types of rooms that we'll get into by the end of the video. However, leading on. Objectives. We have objective, pick up the chem bomb, and find the ventilation room. So we are going to go ahead and pick up the chem bomb. Oh, I picked it up, but nothing has changed. Why has nothing changed? Because we haven't found the ventilation room. Well, we did, but we need to go back there to activate the next step. Alright, so we are in the ventilation room. And the moment I place this here, a whole lot of things are going to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the main the options, so that way you can see the changes here as everything else is also changing in the world. First thing you're going to notice is respawning of enemies, and next thing you're going to notice is a timer up here. So I'm going to take care of the enemies, and I'm going to talk my way through it as I do it. Oh, well, okay. Whole lot of errors. Oh, that's just the enemy that respawned that had the errors. Huh. We'll get to that. No. Alright, so you'll notice that we have a timer here. We have some enemies. So go ahead and dispatch these enemies that have respawned. These are enemies that have already died. Go ahead, deal some damage. Alright, if I was smart, I would have placed mines on the outside of this room. And the reason that is because this timer is spawning new enemies for that entire minute on the previous room to this area, setting their first waypoint into the area, which then causes them to walk into this area. You'll see that a new objective has popped up saying defend it until the chemicals are released. So the actual chem bomb does not actually have a health bar. That's something to be worked on at a later date. Right now it's just a spot. Last objective is to get out. So now we need to get out of the area. So all enemies have respawned, so anything leading up to this point is going to be a little bit more dangerous because we've already fought some of these enemies and we may have used up some of our consumables or our gear items. So I'm going to go back into the entrance area, and mission has been completed, timer has started, and eventually we'll go back to the main menu. And boom, we have completed our first level of Flintlocked, or whatever we're going to call it. So that covers just about everything, with the exception of a few things that we weren't able to show because it didn't generate. So I'm going to play a few times and speed up the process to go ahead and show off some of the new rooms. So first, note all of the gear properly spawned this time. I'm not sure why the sniper spawned when we were looking for the chain gun last time. Alright, so we have made it to one of our new rooms. This is actually the old flooded room, but we actually have water in here now. And as soon as I go in here, you'll notice there's a slowdown. There is now a player-only affected slowdown while you're in this area. You'll see Mr. Slow Guy over here is still coming at me really slow-like, but he has not changed his speed at all. While my speed is still kind of slow. Gonna get up here, and you'll see an immediate change as soon as I get up there. Go ahead and got rid of him, and then back to normal speed. There we go. Alright, so this is one of our new decorated rooms. This is the laboratory. You see the ceiling lamps here. They do actually give off their own light, but they're a very low value, so it's really hard to see that value here. Very reflective surface, and this is going to be kind of the direction we're going to eventually start going with our world. We're going to start going into the more detailed rooms throughout the process. That way there's more clutter, makes so each room's a little bit different, makes so we're not just doing the same thing again and again. So there's one other room type, but I've respawned about 4 times, and I have yet to find the storage room. That's okay. Storage room was just a few boxes and a few extra walls to more break up the room a little bit. So yeah, this is the current state of Flintlocked, or whatever we're going to call it. I'm going to bring us back to the main menu to talk about some of road mapping. So here in the next month, we're going to be changing up the dynamic between, instead of having 3 designers, we're going to have 3 designers and an artist. We have reached out and we found an artist that is looking to help improve what we have. She is going to be working on, right now, some of the props for the game, making the guns more gun-like and things like that. Eventually, we'll be looking into having more dynamic rooms, more dynamic lighting, which does mean, unfortunately, we're going to have to delay out the demo to hopefully next month, because although multiplayer is kind of working, we don't have any multiplayer stuff set up. We actually didn't have that planned up until next month anyway, which we're delaying out to the next month after, due to some art focus. Second to that, the equipment here, you'll see that there's coins. We're going to be working on a currency system to upgrade and buy weapons and gear and consumables and armor, so that way you can actually have choices. Those choices, we haven't fully fleshed out the currency system and how all that's going to work, so we're going to get to that here in the next little bit. We're going to be planning out a little bit more. All of the gear is working. One thing I did not focus on was the enemies this time. Very few things were actually changed. We added the new Suicider, but as you saw, there were some bugs that were going on with that. And everything else was just fixes. The ranged enemy no longer turns their body to shoot, as you saw. The boss enemy didn't even spawn, but if it was to spawn, it's got a different style of different style of attack. Things like that. Like, enemies are going to be going through a lot of fixing and a lot of debugging here the next month, and more focus on trying to make all of them function, and then start going to more specialized enemies like the Suicider, who will slowly charge you and then explode. Or more boss-style enemies where the enemy will have like a cleave attack and hit multiple things instead of just one thing. And last to that, hopefully with some more art, some more cleanup to the game, we'll move into the prototype demo. So stay tuned, guys. We'll have another video out next month. We try to plan these out on the second Monday of every month, so stay tuned. Have a great one, guys. Before I go, guys, Alistair's Journey is now on itch.io for PC build, no ads. So simply go on to itch.io, type in Alistair's Journey or BioFire Games. We're on there now. If you don't know where that is, look at the link in the description in the video. We'll also be having our merch store on there as well, and it'll be more commonplace to have our merch on there. So yes, please support the developers. That way we can actually stop working these retail jobs, so we can actually pump out video games a lot faster than what we've been doing so far. Have a great one, guys. Enjoy 2021. I know that this year, last year was not so great. We're here to make this one better. Have a great one, guys.